Are live. We are doing this show early. I couldn't wait till 8 o'clock. I've been waiting all day to do this show. I've been hitting the tequila, getting liquored up, avocado tequila. Nobody's even heard of avocado tequila. That's what's so great about Tom Brady. Tom Brady introduces Tampa Bay and the world to new ideas. I could not be more excited. I was so excited earlier, had too much of a wild night last night. Headache, all those things. I crawled into the studio. You could not. If I'd had to fight Conor McGregor at the door and, like in The Last Dragon and all the Bruce Lee and all the guys, Kareem Abdul, I would have fought him. I could not be happier. In case you're wondering, in case you haven't figured it out from the thumbnail, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, my Tampa Bay Buccaneers, this is the Rays hat. This is the last time you're going to see me wear the Rays because my Super Bowl champion hat is coming. It's coming, and it might be here tomorrow. It might be unveiled with Greg Bedard. So, yes, Buccaneers hats, shirts, gear. If he was triggered, Greg Bedard, if he was triggered by the Tampa Bay Rays hat, he is going to go nuclear when he sees the Tampa Bay Super Bowl champion hat. Okay? And for those that don't know, outside of New England, Greg Bedard coming on tomorrow, big-time host, journalist in the New England area, well-respected. But it's not about him. It's about us. It's about Tampa Bay. It's about Tom Brady. It's about TB12, my boy, your boy, 31-9. Tom Brady laid the hammer down. The Bucs laid the hammer down, okay? We had many guys on. Nick Wise we had on a couple weeks ago. He's like, you really think it's going to happen? Yes. Anybody that picked the Chiefs to win this game doesn't know football, period. Don't care what their name is. Don't care if they've got 50 million followers. They don't know football. It's not about I picked the Bucs to win. Originally, I said 30-27, but really I felt 30-20. The whole time I felt 30-20 because I never felt the Chiefs were a matchup for the Buccaneers. So 31-9, Cam. I could not be happier. Our defense played phenomenal. I got to give Bruce Arians credit. I never doubted our defense. I never doubted our team. I never doubted Tom Brady. My only concern was Bruce Arians not adjusting, and he adjusted. I tip my hat to him. So let's hear it, Cam. 31-9, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers laid the hammer down. Super Bowl LV 55, baby. Let's hear it.
We are the champions. That's what you should be singing. Oh, my gosh.
Okay, let's stop right there. You've already got us derailed 2 minutes, and we're okay. You're singing. We've talked about this with you're singing, and when you go on these tennis rants with the weird grunts. Yes, I am excited. Popping bottles, absolutely pandemonium. People are tweeting, the city smells like cigars and weed, and I'm like, many podcasters in Tampa, people that are scraggling, still haven't left and gone back to their place. Yes, Tampa Bay. If you didn't see the parade today, this is what about Tom Brady. Tom Brady leads the league in everything. Not only that, he leads the league in boat celebrations. How about that?
He's throwing the Lombardi to Gronk. That was
throwing the Lombardi. He's got his massive $2 million boat. His mansion on the water. 31-9. I could not be happier, Cam. So while I got the stats here ready to roll, let's get rid of the singing. Now, tell me what your thoughts are. Were you happy for my boy Tom Brady?
Of course. I'm a Patriots fan. Why would I be rooting against the man that brought me 20 years of happiness? Of course I'm happy for Tom Brady. Of course I'm happy for the Buccaneers. It was amazing to see that you guys laid the hammer down to Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. This game wasn't a contest. And you could tell early that you guys had set tone. Both hard hits. That first long offensive drive to the Gronk touchdown. Oh, there is no greater winner in the history of sports than Thomas Brady. There is, and it's as simple as that. And he went down there to Tampa in his first year, ring number 7. Unbelievable. This guy, every day we have a chance to watch this guy enjoy it.
Absolutely. Cam, you're freezing up here. So what's going on with the internet? Is because I know it's not mine. Are you? Because I know you're coming in a little cloudy here. I don't want the people to miss that. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, you were freezing up there. So, and I know it's not my internet. My internet is to the next level. So yes, Tom Brady, the GOAT, the greatest of all time. Okay, the greatest of all time. 7 championships. Cam, I just want to make sure really quickly, mic check. Are you with me?
Yes.
You got to talk. It's a talk show. I know they see your face there, but you got, yeah. So no, there's all kinds of craziness. There's been, there's fog. There was fog today coming in, and there's fog night, like I said, with everything going on, but I could not be happier. It's unbelievable. Tom Brady is the GOAT by far, 31-9. So let's cover some of this, shall we? 31-9. Tom Brady was 21 of 29, 201 yards passing, 3 touchdowns, no interceptions, no turnovers, only sacked 1 time. My sleeper pick for MVP was Leonard Fournette. Obviously, Tom Brady was going to get the MVP if the Bucs won, and he had 2 or 3 touchdowns, 200 yards. Of course, he was going to get the MVP. My guy, Leonard Fournette, he led the Buccaneers through the whole playoffs in receptions, in catches. Leonard Fournette, the guy that I've been saying all year long, Leonard Fournette is a top 5, top 6 running back all day long. He's 6'1", he's 240, 4th overall pick from LSU, phenomenal player, big, strong, can block, can run. He does everything. And before I go back to you, Cam, because I know you're updating your Wi-Fi, 16 carries for 89 yards and a touchdown, 4 catches for 46 as well.
Oh, so I got to give you credit because when you guys signed him in the offseason, you said that was going to be one of the most underrated moves of the entire NFL season. And look how he performed for you guys in the playoffs. It's phenomenal.
He was phenomenal. He's an elite running back. Of course, he's better than Ronald Jones. No doubt about it. Ronald Jones is a great straight line runner. He's great with the ball. He's got a lot of speed, but he's got other issues that he needs to work on. I don't want to address those right now because this is a pro Bucs palooza. Bucs won the Super Bowl. I could not be happier. They dominated the game. And I heard a lot of this on Twitter, the last couple of days. Oh, the rest, blah, blah. Okay, first of all, the game was called very tight.
Yes, it was.
The Chiefs, their 2 offensive tackles held. They held all night long. They were holding, and only 1 holding call was called on the Chiefs. Offensive holding I'm talking about. 1
Correct.
call. And let's say, no matter what you want to call it, take away the pass interference, take away whatever you want to, no matter how you slice it, the Buccaneers won that game. The Bucs only gave up 9 points. That was our second best, really, it was our best defensive performance of the year. But as far as points allowed goes, our second least amount of points allowed. We gave up 7 to Detroit. We gave up 9 to the Kansas City Chiefs. What are your thoughts on that, Cam?
It's amazing. It was an absolutely brilliant game plan by Todd Bowles. Great execution by another hat tip to you. You said that front 7 of Tampa was just going to be ferocious this year, and no one was really paying much attention to it, and they were absolutely phenomenal.
And what people were missing is like, oh, the Bucs fell to 7-5 at one point, blah, blah, blah. Well, you know what? Vita Vea, who is 6'5", 350 pounds, he's big, he's strong, he's fast, he's athletic. He takes up 2 and 3 blockers on every play. Him with Ndamukong Suh, with JPP on the edge, with Shaq Barrett on the edge, okay? Not to mention Levante David and Devin White, who I said is the best linebacker in football. Devin White is the best linebacker in football. Some people think he's could be beat out by Levante David. Worst case scenario. And the reason why I thought we'd beat the Chiefs, my only concern, of course, Patrick Mahomes is great. No doubt about it, Patrick Mahomes is great. My only concern at all was Tyreek Hill, because Tyreek Hill went buck wild the last time early in the season. But I felt very confident that with Todd Bowles, we would double team Tyreek Hill, triple team Tyreek Hill, let Travis Kelce catch 8 or 9 passes. Travis Kelce's a great player, but they're not going to beat us because of Travis Kelce. It was going to be because of Tyreek Hill. Tyreek Hill with his speed, and they contained Tyreek Hill.
Oh, big time. And that was a legit concern to that first game when Hill went off in the first quarter. He had over 200 yards in the first quarter. And you kept him under a ball, and you saw how frustrated he was by the end of the night with the stuff with Antoine Winfield. It was a phenomenal game plan by Todd Bowles. Phenomenal.
Absolutely. So, and here we go. So I'm going to go through it again. The Buccaneers ran the ball 33 times for 145 yards. 33 times for 145 yards, 89 from Leonard Fournette with a touchdown on 16 carries. Ronald Jones, 12 carries for 61 yards. He played phenomenal. Both backs played phenomenal. Gronkowski, I can't say enough great things about it. 6 catches, 67 yards, 2 touchdowns. The first time ever in a Super Bowl that one player caught the first 2 touchdowns of the game single-handedly.
Correct.
Rob Gronkowski. Absolutely
Amazing.
phenomenal. So, Cam, this is a new way. It's a new era in Tampa Bay. I could not be happier. The Bucs absolutely dominated 31-9. We crushed them. And you know what it was? It was because of Tom Brady. Tom Brady in the offseason set the tone for this team. He set the tone. I understand the defense played lights out, and people are going to focus on the defense. The Buccaneers, no turnovers. Tom Brady, no turnovers. And here is what I want to get to. Patrick Mahomes, who is many people were like, oh, Patrick Mahomes is the new GOAT. He's the new GOAT. I said, okay.
Right, the baby goat, right.
The baby GOAT versus the real GOAT. And Tom Brady, like the great Master Yoda, the Jedi Master, the number 1 ranked Jedi, the number 1 ranked Yoda, that's Tom Brady, the greatest of all time. 7 titles. 7. After the game, when they showed the graphic, and I'm going to bring it up here in a minute. When they showed the graphic, Tom Brady with 7 titles, everybody else, every other team, not player, every other team had less than Tom Brady.
It's amazing.
You take the field, you take Tom Brady. You take all 32 teams. Normally it's this team versus the field, this guy versus the field. No, it's Tom Brady versus all 32 organizations. He's got 7. He's got the most, Kim. What are your thoughts on that?
It's just I'll say it again. He is the greatest winner in the modern sport history. Right. And I say that with all due respect to Bill Russell, but it's a different era now. Tom Brady is the greatest athlete.
Bill Russell's not even in the. Let's focus on football. Bill Russell's not even in the conversation for the GOAT. He's not even.
I meant all sports.
I know you're all. Again, you go back to Boston. That's how you train. That they beat it out of you.
Well, no, it's just that he won 11 championships. That's why I said him. But it's a different era.
When they had 8 teams. Yes. 8.
That's what I mean by it's a different era. He's the greatest athlete we've ever seen.
Anyway, so the point is Tom Brady, 7 titles. As usual, you try to get us derailed here. 7 titles. The greatest of all time. And here's what I want to point to. So Patrick Mahomes was officially only sacked 3 times, which 3 sacks is pretty good, but for 27 yards, almost 30 yards, 10 yards a sack. 2 interceptions, no touchdowns, passing or running. His completion percentage was awful, almost at 50%, 5.5 yards per attempt. It was absolute dumpster fire. Patrick Mahomes getting pressure all night. And the other reason why I thought that they would win, besides all the many reasons that I mentioned, number 1, I felt Tampa Bay was the best team. Stacked top to bottom. Tampa Bay had no weaknesses. The only weakness, if you want to call it that, is the secondary had several games where they had lapses in judgment. They had some coverage issues, but they're also young. But when you have a front 7 like Tampa Bay, Devin White, Vita V, JPP, all the guys, you can make up for a secondary that is not Stephon Gilmore, whoever, Darrelle Revis, whatever, Jalen Ramsey, whatever guy you want. Like, I thought the Rams were paper champion defensive team. They were ranked number 1. They were not number 1.
It was 2 players.
It was 2 players. But the Rams were good. They were the best as far as yardage and points. So I can't totally discredit them. However, when it mattered the most, they disappeared. And
Correct.
That's how we judge defenses. We don't judge them by holding teams to 14 points in September and October when nobody cares. That's what we're talking about.
100%. And you said it before the season. The Buccaneers defense is it's tremendous. And that front 7's ferocious. The secondary played well. And everybody was talking about Evans and Godwin and Brayton, Howard and Gronk, but nobody was talking about how great the defense was going to be. And the defense was extraordinary. And that's what won you the game.
Absolutely. And by the way, I want to go over the stats here. So for those that said, oh, this or that or the other, let me put this D out there. So the leader in catches for the game was Gronk with 6 catches for 67 yards, 2 TDs. Another top leader in the game was Leonard Fournette, 4 catches for 46 yards. Okay?
Correct.
That's Tom, and also Cameron Brate also had a good game. He caught 3 passes for 26 yards, which does not sound like a lot, but it was in the flow of the game. They were on critical 3rd downs when he caught that, extending the drive. Tom Brady played going to the running backs, going to the tight end. He played traditional Tom Brady ball. That was the key. That was one of the many reasons why we won. But here's what I want to get to. If I told you before the game, your number one receiver, Mike Evans, would have 1 catch for 31 yards. Your number 2 receiver would have 2 catches for 9 yards against Patrick Mahomes. You'd say there's not a chance in hell they win that game.
Correct.
Not a chance.
Correct.
And Antonio Brown played well. 5 catches for 22 yards and a touchdown. But it's not like it was, 5 catches is 5 catches, but 22 yards and a touchdown. It's not like he had an all-world game, 80, 90, 100-plus yards. So at the end of the day, your top 3 receivers, really none of your receivers really had a fantastic game as far as on the stat sheet goes. So, that it was the tight ends and the running backs and running the ball, playing good defense. That's really what it came down to. And if you look at it with Tyreek Hill, he had 7 catches for 73 yards, which is okay, but he was targeted 10 times. It wasn't in the flow of the game, and most of that was late in the game. And the last thing I want to say, Cam, and I'm going to go back to you. We may wrap this video up a little early here. What I want to say, breaking news right before we went on air, A.J. Bouye, the great corner from Denver, was cut today in a big salary cap move. That is a guy, even though today's a party day, me as a fan, me as a guy that loves my team,
we're
I'm
on
ready.
2021.
A.J. Bouye, that is a guy that the Bucs need to seriously look at. He's a salary cap casualty, as they call it that, but that's a guy we do need more help at corner. And at the end of the day, the Buccaneers won traditional football. We had a power running game. We had a power offensive line. We had a great O-line. We had a great D-line and great running game, great defense.
Absolutely.
What more could you want? So what are your thoughts on that, Cam?
No, and I think another big key to the game, and you said it yourself, Mahomes was only sacked 3 times, but he was running for his life every play. He was running, we saw it, running backwards 20 yards, 25 yards, 30 yards. The first drive, he had to run a lot, which was a good sign. That meant they were playing good coverage deep. And not enough people made enough about the fact that the Chiefs were without their 2 tackles, because that was huge in that game. Once again, goes back to your point, it's all about O-line and D-line. That's where the game is won and lost.
It's about O-line and D-line. It comes out of the trenches. It's like all these people are like, oh, the Chiefs are going to win 35-10 or 40. Okay, first of all, what you do in the regular season.
Caught up in the first game, right?
Yeah, guess what? You were caught up in the first game, and I understand Tyreek Hill went great, but what's great about the NFL is if they would have won that first game by running, if their running backs, if Clyde Hilaire would have got 220 yards rushing and 3 touchdowns, then you could say they're just a bigger, more physical team. That's not what happened.
No.
A guy that is quick like a Tyreek Hill, a quick twitch kind of a guy that's all speed, okay? A guy like that can be – I'm not saying can shut him down completely, but a guy like that can be contained with the double team because he's not a physically dominant player like a Julio Jones or a Mike Evans or Calvin Johnson, one of these type of guys. Correct. And what they did, Todd Bowles schemed Tyreek Hill out of that game. They forced them to beat you. You know who the Chiefs needed? The Chiefs needed a Mike Evans. The Chiefs needed a Chris Godwin. That's who they needed. A guy that could catch 7, 8, 9 passes, tough passes, underneath, in the trenches, over the middle. The only guy that the Chiefs had that was that is Travis Kelce at tight end.
Correct.
They did not do a good job running ball. Both of their tackles were banged up. Look, the Chiefs are a good team. They're going to be back. They're going to rebound. But what I said, and I'll say it again, the Bucs, when they were in the Final Four, the Bucs had the best defense by far when it came to the Final Four teams. By far. When it came to Buffalo, when it came to the Chiefs, when it came to us, and then obviously the Packers, or even with the Saints. When we beat the Saints, that was the game I was confident we could win, but that was the game I was most concerned about because their defense was legit. Their team was totally legit. Right, Cam?
Absolutely. And Travis Kelce might have had more catches than Gronk, but Gronk had a better game. And you'll never convince me otherwise.
Right. Look, Travis Kelce is a great player. He had a great game. They lost. Who cares? Yes. I don't care if he had 25 catches for 150 yards. You lost the game.
And I know we got to go here, but I want to ask you one last thing, Preston. Is going Breeze, Rodgers, Mahomes the best achievement of Brady's career?
It is by far the best achievement. It's the best achievement, not just of his career, of anyone's career. If you look up all the things that he had to go through, it's phenomenal. It's phenomenal. Like you said, Breeze, Rodgers, Patrick Mahomes, 3 of the greatest. Okay?
Correct.
So Patrick Mahomes is going to be fine. But again, by the end of that game, he was getting knocked out. What makes Tom Brady great is year in, year out, 20-plus years of greatness. Okay? 20-plus years. Patrick Mahomes has had basically 2.5 years of greatness. If you want to round up and say 3 great years, fine. For the purpose of the discussion, we'll say 3 great years. But this is the second year in a row he's been banged up. Okay? My point is, how great will Patrick Mahomes be in 3 and 4 years?
And that contract kicks in.
When that contract kicks in. Okay, you saw how bad he struggled without a super dominant offensive line. You saw how bad he struggled. You saw it. So without when you can't re-sign Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce's 31. People don't realize he's 31.
He's on the back nine, yeah.
In 3 years, he will be 34. In 3 years, the difference between Kelce and Gronk, I understand Gronk came back from retirement. I feel more confident that Gronk, if he wanted to, could play 3 or 4 more years than Kelce, because Gronk is not purely based on speed. Gronk has got is a great blocker, high skill set. Travis Kelce's skill set, he can't block. It's solely on receiving. Now, he's a great receiving tight end.
Yes, he is.
But his skill level is more so of a Jimmy Graham. He's great. I'm not saying he's not great, okay? But what I'm saying is he can't block. He can't do all the little things that Gronk can do. And you saw that.
Big time.
Kelce had a lot of catches. Kelce had a lot of yards. Didn't get a touchdown.
Nope.
Gronk had 2 touchdowns. That was the difference of the game.
Yes.
Okay? So forget all the penalties. If just Gronk scored, they win the game 14-9. If just Gronk scores, the Bucs win the game 14-9. That's it. All these people on the talking heads, what about this play? What about this play? Bah, 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 bah. At the end of the day, the Buccaneers won. And what I wanted to say was when I was watching the lead up to this game, for those that are under 30 and don't remember the late 90s, early 2000s, the greatest show on turf Rams were Kurt Warner, Torrey Holt, and Isaac Bruce. Torrey Holt and Isaac Bruce were 2 fantastic receivers. Correct. As well as Marshall Faulk coming out of the backfield. Okay?
Yep.
They were all scat backs. None of those guys, they reminded me of Tyreek Hill. They were quick, they were dynamic, they were explosive, but they were not physical. When Correct. It comes down to the Super Bowl, guys like a Mike Evans, guys that are big and physical and tough, okay, you're going to get hit. And Tyreek Hill was getting hit, and Tyreek Hill did a very poor job in that game. He talked all that smack. The Chiefs were way overly confident. They were way cocky with cheetah outfits and all these 2 and this and this and all the crazy things.
And Antoine Winfield mocked them, right?
I loved it. And they got whipped. And they got absolutely whipped. They got destroyed. So like and subscribe to this channel. Another show is coming soon, but the Super Bowl, Tom Brady, 7 against the field. The Master Yoda spanks the little baby Yoda. See ya.